What's up? What's up? It's Hall Carshow Rell. We're here on Network is My Net Worth. This is the first episode. About to bring J Hall Agent up in here, and we just gonna talk about our life at corporate America. We call this one corporate thugging. Y'all see how I'm dressed, right? Corporate thugging. Yeah. Tap in. Just setting up some stuff on the computer to get the everything right. Yo. Yeah. I'm logged in right now. Just jump on. Bet. Yes, sir. Let's get it. Shoot, let me add my cell phone as well. Where we at? We live. Boom. Hall Carshow Rell here. Bet. Alright, let's bring myself in. Alright, Hall, let me bring you up in. Alright, request is sent, bro. My God.
Hold on, give me a sec. I ain't in yet. What's good?
Yo, what's up, man?
What's going on?
Yo, let's kick this thing off, man. Corporate thugging. Corporate thugging is the episode today. First episode 1.
Yes, sir.
So go ahead, kick it off.
No. I was just gonna say, thank you to anyone and everybody that's going to tune in. Appreciate your time and your viewership on this. I think we should kick it off just a little bit of our backgrounds. How we came to know each other, and then we kind of take it from there.
Cool. Go ahead. You got the floor, bro.
All right, cool. Well, you give your side first on how you came to know me and us on this end, and then I'll respond with how we saw you.
Okay. All right. So I'm Carshow Rell. As far as corporate America goes, I jumped into corporate America again in 2002. I graduated high school 2001. At that time I had a solid job. I was making $6 an hour, which was a lot of money back in 2001. It was solid. And went off to the military, Army Reserves, came back home, and one of my high school friends had told me about this job at a bank. And I'm like, okay, working at a bank doing what? He like, man, it's telesales, telemarketing. You just calling people, signing them up for credit cards, and having them apply for cards and stuff, doing balance transfers, and all that type of stuff. Just gave me a small synopsis of everything. Cool. So I go apply for the job, and I get the job. And that's pretty much how I got my introduction into corporate America. I think I met you guys like around 03, 04 maybe. What's up, Creative Designs? Appreciate you for tapping in. And T Marshall, thank you for stopping in as well. And that's where we could pick up from there.
Yeah, that's a bet. So I came to know of you because working in the same bank or whatever the case may be, you were on the part-time side, I was on the full-time side. And then when you decided to become full-time, they came and had a meeting with us about how like we couldn't touch you, so you couldn't sit near us. You had to have your own desk away from everybody else. You couldn't be bothered because working and being disturbed while you were working didn't matter. You know what I'm saying? So like, don't bother me. Like stay away from him. And we felt the kind of way because it was like, yo, you know, who is like who's this guy? Like, you know, we set the scene and we're the ones that are building this and that are generating revenue in this business. Who is this guy from part-time who you telling us that we can't talk to? And it developed a rivalry amongst us and others, and became something that was beneficial, that blossomed into all of this conversation, all that good stuff.
For sure. Look, BP Rock 11, Samish here today, Shane L, what's up? Thank y'all for tapping in. You know, just to I guess make that segue into what we about to talk about now, as far as how we met. You know, I jumped in as part-time. You know, it was a culture shock for me. You know, lived in West Baltimore all my life. That's all I knew. And, you know, working out Hunt Valley, you out there in the sticks. And you walk in the building, you know, you got 6-figure executives that you working with inside the building. I'm just this, you know, hood dude from West Baltimore trying to get on and try and make some money. You
That's
know,
a fact.
it was wild, man. Cafe food was super crazy. That was my first time experiencing that. Man, you got 6-figure executives on the first floor getting their shoes shined before they go to work, like on some, you know, in NY Goldman Sachs type vibe, man. It was crazy in those days, bro. Oh, Midwest, Mr. 40 West, man. Steve, yo, shout out to you, bro.
Happy birthday to my bro,
Yeah,
man. Happy birthday to him.
to you, fam. You
He,
was there too. He was there
yeah,
too.
he was there. Like I told you, it was him and I specifically that had an issue that was like, yo, who is this dude from part-time that's coming over here now that they saying getting a lot of money and he get his own desk and we can't talk to him or whatever the case may be. And it was like, who is he? Like, we're us. You know what I mean? Like we carrying the mantle. But no, I agree with that vibe. You know, the one thing that I'll never change is I'll never forget you know, getting off of the elevator in that top 5 board they had. Of who was the top 5 hottest the day before, so on and so forth. You know, so that was a legendary, you know, memory as well. But I want to transition into from, you know, stepping away from the memories for a moment and then just kind of sort of talking about some of the things and the jewels that we picked up, things that we've learned that have aided us in our career, moving away from that space.
Man, before we go there, because we got time, bro. Before we go there, y'all, I gotta talk about the big roast. The big roast y'all had me on, man. Daffy Duck ties, bro.
Oh my God, you found the Daffy Duck tie. That's legendary.
So look, I used to wear ties like this. Be ever ready. What's up, JB? He was there too. He was there as well. I got this joint that I've been pulled up.
Oh wow.
Legendary, right? Legendary.
Wow.
I got one more for you. I got one more for you, Jay. I got one more for you. Where we at? Where we at with it? And this was early me. This how I used to come to work dressed.
Oh yeah. That definitely was the vibe.
Look, that was another Daffy Duck tie with a fitted, a Lakers flight jacket, some Dickies, and some Chuck Tim's. Like that's no cap. That was my you know, that was my outfit at the time. And it was dudes like y'all who I don't know how y'all got the game down pat, because y'all was, you know, Baltimore cats as well. Hey, what's up, Sassy Stone? CEO Sass. You know, I don't know how y'all got the hold on, I might have a phone. But I don't know how y'all got the game down pat as far as style. But y'all had to put me on beat. Where your doors go all the way up. I got somebody got to talk about that one. That was crazy. But
Yeah, that was legend. I was digging in the crates and I couldn't find anything I had from that era. You were so much better than me in that era of managing those things and keeping those things. But I used to wear in the wintertime, I had a black dicky coat I used to wear with a do rag tied up in the back like Memphis Bleak,
back.
with a Sacramento Kings fitted with dress clothes. So I still had my proper business attire, but for me, it was more of trying to just make sure that I had to bring a little bit of the culture in my neighborhood with me there, because it wasn't guys like us that was in that building.
No.
And funny enough, uh, Teeb, who we shouted out earlier, and a couple of other guys from my team had actually took me on an intervention at Outback across the street and kind of let me know, like, listen, man, we appreciate what you're doing, but you in here like going hard on managers, you ain't do rags to work, like you too talented for that. Like I need you to come back with some different energy. And that's, to your point, what led to my transition. Just present myself better, dressing better, all of those things was that, because in that moment, I did not want anybody that I knew that I came up with to feel like, man, this guy done changed. He ain't the same guy, so on and so forth. And I knew the levels that I was trying to climb. So I love those photos, man. I love the truck. I will never forget them going crazy in a meeting, like, oh my God, his wheels are still spinning. Um, which was just, it's different. And I'm so glad that you kept those things, because it was crazy that we were doing that in a Fortune 500 company
Facts.
at the time. And they weren't really the biggest fans of us being there.
Nah.
So I'm glad that you pivoted us back to that, because I couldn't find any of my old gems like that from back in the day. I'm gonna do some digging, and in the future episodes we'll bring it up. But I think that was I think it was epic. And before we transition, I do want to share something on what led me to there. What led me there was, I had just interviewed at MCI Worldcon around the corner from there, and they had showed me some love. I went through a whole interview process with them. Everything went great. But my homeboy that I wanted to interview with, they ended up dropping him off at the back door of the dumpsters, because they felt like he wasn't good enough. So he thought he was going in for a second interview, and they dumped him like a dead body back by the dumpsters, and was like, "Yo, you'll get out of here. Like, you don't belong around here." And I went through the entire process, got hired on the spot, all of that. And then I was like, yo, where's my man at? Oh, we dumped your man by the dumpsters 2 hours ago. So I sprint out the door. I'm running through Hunt Valley. He from East Baltimore. He don't know where he's at. Eventually I find him, but I called him back and turned down the job. Because the West Baltimore in me is like, I can't, like, you played my guy, so I can't work for y'all. You know what I mean? So it was different, but it was a great launching pad to what we're looking to do. What came of our careers, all that good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. The real Mr. G Body. What's up, man? I see Teeb still in here, man. Look, it's his birthday, right? So I'm gonna tell the story. So upper management had like a meeting office, conference room, that they host their meetings at. And us being West Baltimore dudes, we noticed that they only was meeting like in the mornings, and then the office is like open during the rest of the day. Hey, Tonda Talis, what's up? What's up? Nail Diva, how are you? Swaps, performance and stuff. So we used to go in there on break. We used to go in there on lunch, and we kind of like took over the conference. I think you might have asked somebody, like, is anybody using the rum? And so it wound up being our rum. Me, you, Pat, P, JB, all in there. That was our little room. from that point. So I was in the rapping heavy, like 02, 03. You know, went on the radio, did my thing on the radio. And everything. Yeah, so I was the nicest. So here come your boy T. This is around the first time I start vibing with y'all, right? So T, you know, Brooklyn dude. Yo, he got the NY, he got that NY swag, whatever the case might be. Shout out to him for being the first dude to wear the track jacket. Just to salute that. So he got the whole New York Indian vibe. And I'm like, I got the Baltimore Indian. Like, man, who this dude think he is? Like, I'm me. I'm Rell. Like, you ain't nicer than me. So he like, boy, I can spit. I can rap. I'm like, all right, cool. So we kicked a couple freestyles. And I told him, look, this is probably like a Monday. I said, man, Friday, we're gonna battle. We're gonna battle before we you know, before work starts. Come to work 30 minutes early. So I come to work 30 minutes early, all of us. We had the whole conference room on lock before anybody was even there. I think the lights were off. We might have had the lights on to come in there. I kick around. T kick around. I kick another one. T kick another one. I'm like, whoa, this dude got ambition. And T just start going at it, like off the top. I don't know if it was off the top. I don't know if it was written, but I ain't gonna lie, he started flaming me. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, yo, this dude came with some ammunition I wasn't prepared. Like, I thought he was gonna be whacked, so I ain't even prepared. But yeah, he definitely tripped me up and he got that W. So from there on, that's what started our feud with everything, with style, with being out, with you know, pretty much with everything, man. We always had a little feud from that point on. With who could sell the most balanced, who could make the most money. And that's when it kind of rubbed off to you, well, because you like, man, yo, I'm me, I'm a Hall. And we had our little debacle. I took another L. You went on vacation for a week. I'm like, man, I got this in the bag. I'm up like 100,000 on them. Man, I'll let you finish that story off, man. That's legendary stuff. Right
No, it definitely was. It was legendary, and it was crazy because I got sent to HR for it. Yeah, because when we went through the battle, and we were, you know, for the viewers, we were battling over, you know, who could produce much, you know, as much money as possible, whatever the case may be.
Well, what's up?
You know, Love was good. You know, who could generate as much revenue for the company or whatever. And like you said, I went on vacation. I came back. I was losing drastically. You know, I probably made 100,000 a day for them, and I beat you. And we had bet money, and I took the money and I photocopied it, right? And being fresh out of West Baltimore, I didn't understand that it was illegal for you to photocopy money. So I photocopied it and I had it posted on the wall of my desk. And Human Resources was like, yeah, you know, we need to rap with you real quick. And I'm like, yo, I don't have no complaints on my name. Like, they like, listen, man, you got some counterfeit money photos on your desk. We need to know what you into, so on and so forth. So luckily, if you remember, the OG Joe Shaw, who was one of the managers, had bailed me out because he was like, nah, man, my man was just in a contest with somebody else, and it was a little overzealous or whatever. Like, he not doing nothing fraud. We took it off his desk ASAP. But it was great because that was the last day that you ever bet money since I've known you. And that was real facts though.
Yo, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not a better. I don't bet money.
Nah, it wasn't. You may not bet money, but in that moment, you was like, yo, I'm doing whatever numbers, because you also had a little bit of an issue with us anyway. Like, you and I was kind of cool because we related, you know, being from over West, but from a business perspective, it was war. And you had everyone that you had worked with previously was looking up to you like, yo, we need you to go over there and let them know how we get it in. So, and I was holding down, you know, my people on my side, especially me and T, because it was like, you know, we were the representatives on our end.
Yeah.
So it was great. And it just taught me a worthwhile lesson that, you know, that was fun. I will also say that I realized quickly after that environment wasn't what business was. That environment was amazing, and that company ended up selling their business. because they just ran their business better than everybody else, so they were able to cash out. But I looked for that experience the rest of my career, and it wasn't the same.
Nope. I could not find another company that that ran an operation like them. The incentives was crazy. You know, making $10 an hour wasn't a lot, but when you're selling, you know, 100,000, 200,000 a day, and you know, generate millions of dollars for a company, you know, those $2, $5 incentives, $5, $10 here, $20 there, man, that joint add up in the end of the month, and next thing you know, you're looking at a whole separate check.
Listen, man, I'm coming fresh from like doing some security work on the side, trying to put myself through college. Like I don't, you know, money is money. You know what I mean? And that career is part of what allowed me to move my mom out of the neighborhood that we were in and change some things. And I wouldn't be, you know, who I am without that experience. So it was beneficial. And the things I learned there translated throughout my entire career. Because the one thing that was priceless was the training. I came into that job, I didn't know how to write a check. So I took training overly serious because I had to learn how to manage money and pay bills and do all these other things. So everybody else was in there trying to learn how to do the job well. And I was trying to learn how to not overdraft my checking account because I got a card and every time I swipe it, it goes through. So it's just a different change, a different environment. And I definitely feel like it led to what we do now.
Yeah,
And then I'd also say, for me, the first thing that it taught me was that hustling was a skill set. Because in our communities, we tend to look at hustling as drug dealing only. Like the only way you can hustle is if you sell drugs. And that's just not, you and I both know that that's not accurate. And I realized coming into that door because, like, you know, we got JB in the comments saying, yeah, you know, he was a Carnegie Mellon grad, and you got Penn State grads, Salisbury State grads, Cornell grads, like all of these talented college people. And really, when I first came, it was me and Teeb, and we had went to CCBC Catonsville around the corner from Westview Mall. So we didn't come in with the same pedigree. But for me, what I learned very quickly and looking around was they weren't bred how the way I was bred. So the one thing that I had over them was my hustle. So it was like, you know, this is my option. You know what I'm saying? This is my chance to create a different situation for my family. So I took it seriously, and being the best is what mattered. But that's also what made our rivalry so fun, because it was like, oh, so that's y'all man, and he's the hired gun that's supposed to come over here and change things. All right, then I'm on his head then. Let's see what's good with him.
yo, big facts, man. You know, as a me, you know, I spent 10 years at that job, you know, so that I felt like, you know, for the longest that was my only option. Before y'all got there, I just had mastered the craft. I was trash. My first maybe 6 months in working there, horrible, trash. Wasn't selling anything. Was at the bottom of the list consistently, and I was about to quit. I honestly was about to just be like, "Yo, this ain't for me." And you know, I went to my manager, shout out to William Spencer, told him like, "Yo, I just can't get it. Like, I'm not sure what I'm not doing." And so he said, "Man, look, I want you to sit down with Donnie, which was, you know, the part-time manager. Like, I want you to sit down with Donnie, you know, for the rest of the day, take notes." And one thing about me, like, I'm a great note taker. When it's time to take notes, when it's time to listen, you know, when it's time to adapt, you know, having that ability to learn and everything like that. Yo, I was on it, and I started to learn assuming the sale, which was, I guess, key for my technique. You know, you get somebody on the phone and you basically just go into not even pitching them, but telling them like, "Hey, what's about to happen? I see you're a this alumni. You qualify for this. Let me get your information so that you can receive blah 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 blah."
Well, let me, before you go forward, let me set the scene for what it was. In 30 seconds, what we effectively was doing was, if you went to a Ravens football game and signed up to get something free, but didn't know you were signing up for a credit card, you would just get a credit card in the mail. And you'd be like, yo, what is this? And who pulled my credit? And you would call a number. And when you called that number, it was us.
Yeah.
And on that, not only do we have to tell you what it is, but we have to explain to you the benefits, how much money is on it, and then we have to get you to use money from it all on the same phone call.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like it was different. It was different to me. And for me, what I looked at is, you know, knowing people from different backgrounds, whatever the case may be. That's why I felt like, from a hustling perspective, that it was just as much hustling as anybody else, because it was like, we selling money to people who already got it.
Yeah. It takes talent. Like, one thing, you know, I want to really strike home on this, man. There was a lot of people that at the early age of Indian, you know, of that company, there wasn't a lot of people that looked like us on full time. I made it full time because of my talent.
Right.
It was me and like 3 other chicks that went from part time to full time, and it was because of our talent. And got talent, man. I don't care, you know, race, your religion, your background, whatever. Yo, certain people can't deny talent, man, especially when it comes to business. Business is about generating free revenue.
Well, that's a fact. And I think also the other thing is that I try to talk to people, you know, close to me, out of these sorts of settings, and really what led to us even agreeing to do these, you know, a series of these consistently, is that certain things that are looked at as negative in our communities are seen different as business, but the news doesn't portray it that way, right? So like in our communities, we hear finessing, right? Finessing, right? Finessing is categorized as something that's shiesty, shady, underhanded, etc. In business, finessing is considered sales. So when you start to conceptualize that the reason why we're talented in some of these ways is because we have to experience, like when I used to negotiate trying to get $1 bag of penny candy and I didn't have an entire dollar. That's the skill set that aided me in business. For some of our contemporaries that we work with, or whatever the case may be, they weren't used to that. They never had that. I was negotiating with my mom on why she didn't need to look at my report card because I wasn't necessarily doing what I needed to do that quarter, right? But when they come into our neighborhoods and we turn on the news, etc., the same things that are really and truly skills tend to be categorized in, well, you know, that's why those people are in the situation that they are. So it's that skill and upbringing. Yeah, we're talented, but all of those, you selling candy for years in school to kids who didn't necessarily have money to pay for candy.
They had a quarter.
Yeah, I mean, like it's the same skill set, bro.
Yo, 1,000%. Before we switch gears, hey JB, I see you still in here, man. You know, if Hall could sign off on this, man, I would love to bring, or at least like, you know, just a couple moments if you dress, you know, obviously, and if you're able to on, you know, just to share a couple moments, you know, that you had with that you had with Jason, and that you had working at the bank, man. So, you know, if you're able to come in for just a quick moment, drop a comment, and I'll tag you in. But yeah,
Kid,
bro, like
he may not be. I know his wife's birthday is today,
okay,
so
okay.
he may or may not
No
be
doubt.
able to tag, man. But if he can't, you know, we'll eventually get him on as we continue to do these.
Yeah, yeah. But you know, as things transition, I think you left first, right?
Yeah, I was there
You
was
was
a
the
group
first
of
one.
people that physically leave the building. Yeah, there was other people that went to other departments, like JB left and went to another department or whatever the case may be, amongst others. I was the first one to leave the building.
So let's talk about that, man. Cause you was making good money, you know, up at the bank. What led you, you know, making that transition, making that leap of faith, you know, at that early age of yours?
So
And you had a
yeah,
kid. Did you have Ree at the time?
nah, re happened maybe a little bit. She might have, like, I think her mom might have got pregnant maybe a little bit before I left or a little bit
Okay.
after.
Okay.
So really what led me to leave was, so I was staying. So at the time I had become, it was a group of 5 of us that we was part of the interview process of bringing people into the organization at MBNA. And so things was going good. Chris Shesby, as you know, Chris had reached out to me and was like, listen, Bank of America is starting to transition, and I want you to get on the other side so that you can get the type of role that you deserve. So he sent me to apply for the same job that I had at Watt, but it was with Bank of America, right? So I went through a bunch of tests, passed the test, went on the interviews, killed the interviews. And then when I got out of the interviews, he called me. And he said, yo, you're not going to get the job. And I said, what do you mean? I'm like, yo, I'm like, what?
Right.
And he
Right.
was like, what we didn't know before we got into this merger was that they may or may not be big on legacy people. And when we say legacy, people that started there and not at the new company. So he's like, yo, I know you're the better candidate. They know you're the better candidate, but they're going to take care of their people before they take care of our people.
Right.
And that was my first serious lesson in business and understanding, like, oh, okay, so that's what's up. Okay, so that's how it moves. So I thought I was going to be stuck there. And then funny enough, I don't know if he's still in the comments, but Teeb had an open house that he was going to for, rest in peace, Wachovia Bank. And he said, bro, I'm going to work on your resume for you. You should go with me. Because he was far better at that time than I was. And I was like, all right, I'll go. So we went, and funny enough, it went horrible. We was talking, like, you already know his aura, man. We were talking to the executives there, and he said something wild. It was like, why do you want to come here? And he said something along the lines of like, yo, because I feel like y'all next up to be successful, and I can get y'all where y'all need to be, so on and so forth. And the dude started quoting all of these different stats of how they had all of this market share and was such a successful business, and they just wasn't feeling us. Like it went horrible to the point that, like, we sat in the car, like just dreaded. Like, I'm looking at him like I want to put my hands on him, and we just mad. And then for whatever reason, through God's grace, they called for interviews. And my interview just so happened to be with a woman who wasn't there that day, who I never met. He ended up interviewing with the same guys he said the slick stuff to. So that led to a different situation. And I got in, and it was a far better opportunity. You know, it was a chance for me to step out on my own, to generate revenue within a branch. You know, they gave me a corporate credit card with access to an unlimited amount of money. You know, when I'm just about to turn maybe 22 years old. I'm 21 then. So, and you know, I'm making like 40 or 50,000 plus my commission, which is more than my mom had ever made in her career. So at that point, you know the story. I came to you. I wasn't gonna leave. Like, it's funny that you even asking me that question, and I love how you led into it. But I wasn't gonna leave. It was you and some other people that was like, "Yo, you like," because you're right. I do think that my daughter's mom was pregnant, and he was like, "Yeah, you got kid on the way, and you taking care of your mom's. Like, you got to get this money." And that's what led me to walking away and being the first of all of us to lead the building.
Yeah. I think for me, you know, once we transitioned to BOA, I was killing BOA, and it came to a point where Shesby and a couple other upper man giving me, and you should try to interview for a different position on the top floor. And the top floor is where the superstars at. Like everybody a superstar there. I'm like, man, I know I'm good, but am I that good? I mean, I hear them gassing me, and I never forget my manager. They was in my ear for a bit, and my manager Amy Amhoff, Miss Yorkman, how you doing? How you doing? Amy Amhoff. She was like, man, I'm not letting you. You need to put in your application so that you can go upstairs to I think it was credit, either credit or customer retention, and you're gonna do it today. I'm all right, cool. Did it. Applied. I was scared to death. Don't lie, scared to death. I passed the interviews. It was like a credit long application. We had to pass like some a series of questions when it came down to everything like that. This was '07. Boom, and then we got our certification. And once I got up there, it was like completely. I had to start over. Wow. And you remember when I told you like, yo, I was trash when I first started the bank period. Trash again. And then I got better and better. However, everybody was superstars up there. Floor 7 was filled with superstars. It was like, yo, I'm KD playing with Steph and playing with all these other guys. Like, yo, but they nice. Like, they make me look like I'm the lower guy. And it was just like, man, it was a whole different up on the 7th floor.
Yeah, and at that time I remember that because that's where everybody wanted to go. And now that I think about it too, the other reason why I left, I didn't think about it when JB and the first wave of people moved, because if you remember, you left our department to go to CA, and then you went to the 7th floor.
Yeah.
I didn't make the first wave, but I'm coming off of being MVP in the building, right? So, what I mean, I'm Aaron Rodgers last year. And I'm like, I don't make the first wave, like for real. And just being young or whatever the case may be, I was always taught, yo, if they're not going to do it and they're going to use you as a commodity anyway. And it was people in that building who I'll leave their names out of this. One of them I already mentioned, who was like, listen, man, you great. And I know our competitors would want you. So, yo, you got to bop. And it was so funny, after I left and things progressed for you, and the word, how word travels around the street, word got back to me like, yo, the boy Rell, he in credit now. I'm like, oh, for real?
It was
yeah. And it's funny because and salute to my man E Vapors in here too. But that was around the same time that you had bought Selena. Which that was your beautiful Benz, and I can remember when you bought it, you had pulled up on T, and T said you had the curtains in the back with the gray poupon. So we was like we, I'm out here and I'm jamming, like I'm successful, things are going well for me, and mind you, it's so funny because I'm looking at that now. That is outside the building. It was just a different area. Like it was, and that's why the topic for this, based off of the old Young Jeezy song, corporate thugging, was so apt because we were successful in what it is that we were doing, but we bought the culture that we came from into the building.
Facts.
And we were so talented through the grace of God that it forced them into a situation of like, they didn't necessarily want certain things. It was like, I got to take the good with the bad with them. Like, they too talented. I will say though that I went hard, but you went harder than me. Like when I had transitioned and I was trying to be like Mr. Management or whatever the case may be, I can remember when they pulled you up about your various vehicles and was like, yo, it's turning into a car show at the work parking lot. Like, we can't do this anymore. and it was like, and you was just like, you was heartbroken because you like, I don't understand what my car has to do with my ability. But nah, it was a great time, a great era in our career, and I learned so many things, especially from a negotiation perspective, because I learned then that was the first time when I realized that these people didn't care about me. I was a commodity. So as a commodity, I got to use the leverage I have to create, to generate as much revenue for myself. Because man, I had up until a couple years ago, I used to have a whole case of awards. Like, but then one day I woke up, probably by the time I turned 25, and realized those awards don't pay for cars and houses and etc. So it was like that's useless. You know what I mean? But that experience is also probably why I would say both of us are entrepreneurs right now, because we had to see like the stuff that I seen in that building and other buildings I've been in my career. It was different than the street. Like they talk about the street and what's going on and people being murdered and all this and that. I done seen a lot more career suicides and career killings happen than killings on the street. You know what I mean? So different era, but learned a ton, and just tried to transition that skill set into other places.
Yeah, man. We both were, working in corporate America. To kind of talk about entrepreneurship as well. And we were workpreneurs, right? We were working in corporate America. We learned a lot in corporate America. And, before what we're doing today, 10 years ago, back when we were doing car shows, we used some of that skill set to even launch taking car shows to the next level.
Oh yeah, I mean it was all after learning that everything was all about business and how we can generate revenue. The biggest thing that I took from that was the only thing that mattered was revenue. Like they may have had like they may not shake my hand or speak to me in Target, but in the building, they're gonna be as humble and respectful as they can be because I generate revenue. And being young and understanding that, okay, like we don't need to be friends. I got my own friends, I got my own family, but okay, so the name of the game of this is revenue. So I'm just going to continue to generate revenue. And that's all I care about. I don't want attaboys, as they call them. I don't need pats on the back. I don't want emails. I don't want any of that. Revenue.
Look, that's you know me, like I was there literally to not get fired. As your boy say. What's his name?
Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah. Like let's keep it 100. I was nice, I was talented. I wasn't there for JB, you, he, y'all was y'all was cool at work, but after work, it wasn't out. Y'all invite me to not Applebee's, Outback, Carrabba's. I appreciate that. I'm here to do my job and get this money.
Nah, man. You listen. You was trying to buy cars, so at that point,
okay,
it was like you was eating TV dinners on a daily basis. Like, yo, I need my salary to purchase vehicles. Like, I'm not eating out. I don't care about no crib. I don't care. No. I'm in a war right now. I done attained the level of status and what I do in my personal time, and that's all I care about. And we, for the most part, we all respected that because at the time it was so funny. I laugh about it now. The other thing that had us kind of sort of tight was when we met you. You had the Joel Santana Super Bowl jacket, right? That was like 7 something.
Yeah.
Up at Total Sports.
I just showed you.
We was getting money. Like we was getting money, and we was like, nah, man. Like he must be hustling or something on the side. Like he running around with $700 levers on.
Dre right here.
Yeah.
I took it right before work. Look, I got the shirt tie on with a Super Bowl jacket.
Listen, but the sad thing was, it was funny, man. I was like, you wore that jacket. I was wearing flight jackets with a shirt and a tie. Like it was just it was different. I don't regret that experience because I needed to to learn through that, but it was a different aura. And then on dress down days, I'm dressed like I'm fresh out of a Rockefeller video at work because I don't know no better. You know what I mean? It's like this is really who I am, and I want to make y'all uncomfortable and force y'all to have to deal with me as who I am.
Facts. Facts.
But to transition and just give some, because I know we coming up. I know we want to do this for about an hour. I know we coming up on 8, but from a gym perspective, the biggest thing that I took from this experience was 2 things. You got to take risks. You know, going there was a risk. You know, I found that opportunity in an employment guide. If you remember, the supermarkets around our way, they used to have a magazine with the used cars, and then they would have the employment guide next to it. And I found an employment guide, and I looked at it, and I didn't even meet the qualifications, and it said apply
For the bank?
And, yeah, I didn't meet it because
okay.
they wanted, like, you were part-time. The full-time requirements were different. Like, you had to be a college graduate and do all this and that stuff. But, you know, I was raised, you know, my mom's, rest in peace, always raised me with the mentality of what you got to lose. All they can say is no. So I applied. I showed up for my interview, and my man from middle school, who I hadn't seen since we were 12, pulled up next to me. And we ended up talking in the parking lot. And I just happened to get there early to study before the interview. And he gave me some game and was like, don't come to work. He worked in tax. And he was like, yo, don't come work in my department. Go over there. They make a lot of money over there. It's good. Ask to interview with this person. So he put me on game. And then the power of a strong Black woman. My second interview was with a woman. If you remember, her name was Tracy Smallwood.
Okay.
And she, we went through the interview process. She grilled me. And then at the end of it, the door was open. And she closed the door. And she said, listen, you're a smart kid, and you got a chance to do some real good things here. But let me let you know, your haircut is trash. Your fit is garbage. Like, I know your fit when you outside chasing girls is different. You need to take some of that energy and put it into your dress clothes situation. The next dude that you interview with, he's going to grill you. He's going to talk about your moms. He's going to talk about dudes from your neighborhood. He's going to do anything to try to get you to react because they expect us to be what they see on TV. Don't be that. And that completely changed my mind frame. I got my situation in order. I was ready to go into that next interview and ended up getting an opportunity that changed the trajectory of my career and my life. And I would not have been able to do that without that talented woman or talented Black woman, to be specific, and her input.
Man, this my first time hearing that, bro.
Yeah, man, it's these are the things that I reflect on, and this is what keeps me so humble, and it's the reason why I work so hard for people, is because somebody worked hard on my behalf.
Yeah, man. Opulent and man, appreciate that.
Yeah, it was good.
As for me, you know, spending 10 years in corporate America, I think you might have did like vapes. What's up, bro? You know, as me, I still use the techniques, you know, how to treat the client, how to treat the customer, you know, how to incentivize your staff, how to incentivize, you know, your good clients, how to take care of situations when things go left with clients. You know, all those techniques that I got from just working in corporate America, I still use today in business, in life, and, you know, pretty much in everything, man. And, you know, for me, I used to say, like, man, you know, maybe people need corporate training and everything like that. It's a lot of people that have corporate training that may not use it in their day-to-day business, right? But me, I'm like, man, I'm trying to run my operation like a corporate structure. So I'm going to take all those gems that I got from 10 years from working at corporate America and just go hard at it. Just go hard at it. And, you know, for those who, know my company, they know how we run business. They know how we are. We ain't cutting no corners. We ain't taking no shorts. We ain't running no fugazi, illegitimate, no type of backdoor deals that they would probably expect from us. And, my company, we dealing with all types of people. Not just we dealing from your everyday clients. We dealing with celebrities, artists, superstars, billionaires, you know, corporate companies, and we're gonna get into that on a couple episodes down the line as well. And I gotta be prepared, and my staff has to be prepared to be able to handle everything that might come at you. You might got a client in the backseat that had a bad. He might don't feel like talking to nobody, so maybe you just need to shut up and not have no small talk with the client and let him breeze off and just make sure that the ride is comfortable. Or he might ask you a question. You got to know how to talk as far as having a conversation that may be outside the box that you may not be having. You got to be trained to talk about pretty much anything. And I just take that from, again, man, from corporate America.
Now that's a fact, and I'll say to summarize for myself, the things I utilize in my business, to be specific, is major corporations are successful because they find problems and create solutions. So, my whole business, whether it's real estate or anything else I've ever been involved in, even back when we was workingpreneurs, has been to find a problem and create a solution. And that's the easiest way. In their case as a business, their problem was getting quality clients. They found a solution by recruiting them at events, etc. Having a code of ethics and a code of conduct in your business. I think sometimes business is categorized from a small business perspective as mom and pop.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you don't have a certain amount of employees doesn't mean that you can't run your business in a particular way. And matter of fact, shout out to my guy, CEO Sass, in the comments, because this is a man I know specifically that went to Atlanta and started a business because he identified a problem and created a solution and went all the way to Asia.
Well, keep talking, bro. Keep talking. I'm about to move my phone. It's got to fix that.
Went to Asia to be able to solve that problem for people in that network. So just finding problems, creating solutions, having a level of ethics in your business, generating revenue, not being emotional. AJ, business, you just can't be emotional in business. And it's funny because we talk all the time. Everybody that knows us mutually, knows my personality. Like I'm a stand-up dude, loving, fun, all of that good stuff. But probably only you know me in business. And there's not a lot of funnies. There's not a lot of games with me, because business is business. And they don't want to see us be successful anyway. So I got to be on top of that. And even in my particular business right now, my goal is to add value for my clients, to do it in an ethical manner, and to educate. Because one of my favorite podcasts, I Am Athlete, they always say on there, like, exposure is the key to expansion. And in our communities, there's a lot of lack of knowledge from a financial perspective. Like I told you, I didn't learn how to write a check or how to operate a checking account until I worked at a bank, which is ridiculous. Just using those same skill sets, man, and not like you said, bro, not cutting corners, and finding your target market. Like if you want to, that's the other thing that I learned from working in corporate America and big business is you want to sell t-shirts, find out who out there needs your t-shirts and market to them. And you can do whatever it is you want to do, and don't allow, you know, in corporate America, you know, they make whatever decisions they make all the time. People thought they were crazy when that company we left purchased an investment firm. Right? All the things I've seen in my career, people talk all the time about they crazy. These are still billion-dollar businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it ain't about doing what other people feel is comfortable, you know what I mean, or confident, or whatever they're confident with. It's about what makes sense to you, and educating and elevating.
Yep. I'm gonna throw I guess the last caveat on that is you know, having the ability to pivot.
Yeah.
Things change all the time in business, the climate of the cultures, um, environments, things that go on in the world. I mean, we're in the pandemic. We're still in the pandemic right now. So there's a lot of businesses that either you're gonna fold or you're gonna pivot and find something else you're either gonna branch off to within your business so that your business doesn't fold. You
That's a
gotta do
fact.
that as well. I think that goes from you know, as far as us being hustlers. And it's gonna segue into next Tuesday, sacrifices. Like when what you gonna do when the house starting to crumble? Are you gonna fold? Or are you gonna, you know, pick up some cement, some bricks, some stands and try to, you know, hold the house up and rebuild this thing?
That's a fact. And even within your careers, I think the same skill set applies, because what I learned from being a workingpreneur, when I started to generate income that wasn't tied to my employer, it gave me a level of freedom, because when it came time to negotiate money, nah, you can't play with me no more, because I got the ability to eat without you.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't care what it is. Even if your kids got a lemonade stand, put the support behind them, do it. Because these companies understand, and this is the other thing I watched, and I watched it from your journey there, and we'll capture this in another episode. These companies watch what you do. So when they see you buy a house, when they see you buy a nice car, when they see you take your families on vacations, they analyze that and they process that as, he needs us.
Big facts.
So they start treating you a little bit different of a way, because it's like, oh, you got certain financial liabilities that you got to maintain. So
Yep.
maybe I can play with you a little bit more, because you got people to take care of. So it's managing it, you know, understanding that, having a plan to go along with your plan, and doing it your way. The reason why we came up with this whole show is, this was an episode really just to kind of give people a little bit of a feedback of our background. But the next thing that we're going to tap into is explaining that entrepreneurship may not necessarily be for everybody. And it ain't the easiest thing. It's not what, you know, the internet would have you think, that everybody is on boats and jets and getting money.
Mm-hmm.
But what you don't understand is, what really happens, a lot of these people will wait 10 years after they was dead broke and get a certain amount of money, and then want to come back and tell you how, look at me, I was dead broke for $19.99 a month. I can give you my plan and you'll be rich too. Nah, it's no capping, it's no lying with us. This is where we are. We're building our businesses. We've built, from me watching you with yours, me now coming up to 3 years in with mine. We building it from scratch, and it's tough. So if you decide that you don't want to leave your job, that's fine. But create a play where you like, all right, I got this hustle on the side going on with my family, so that if a moment later this company starts to act funny, or they decide to give the promotion that I deserve to somebody else, I'm good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Look, I see Vapors on here. Hey, let me know if you can chime in on that, man. Because you got a powerful story, bro. You know, if you can just take you know, 60 seconds, if you're available.
Yeah,
Definitely.
if he available, we'll
Uh,
tap him in before we shut down.
yeah, before we get out of here and close this thing out. But yeah, man. I experienced and it started to make me complacent, right? When I got the new car, I got the house, I'm married, I got the on the way. I started to get complacent, and I'm like, man, I can't mess this up because if I mess this up, my whole life messed up.
Well, hold on, bro. I want you to finish your thought. Pause that real quick. I wasn't working there since you decided to share it now. I wasn't working there. I got phone calls, and my phone went off, and they was like, "Yo, listen, I don't know if you got a way to contact him, but you need to track the boy Rell down." I'm like, "Yo, what's good? Well, they coming for his job. Why they coming for his job? Because they feel like he getting more money. He getting the same amount. He got to be getting the same amount of money that the executives got because he just bought this Benz, and his Benz nicer than they Benz, and now they starting to have meetings about the fact that he got a Benz and they ain't got a Benz. I don't even work there no more."
Nuts.
And I'm like, "Yo, word?" They like, "Yo, they want him out there." And then I remember catching up to you and you being like, "Yo, I'm getting a sandwich in the lunchroom," and somebody pulled me up about how much my car was and how can I afford that on my salary. So going to the point of no cap, and I just wanted to add to some validity that you lived it.
Big facts. Big facts, man. And look, Davis might be
Yeah, let's
might,
try to tap him in before we shut down.
I'm sending a request now.
Cool.
I'm a sponge brother, Mr. G Body. Look, we got stories for days, man, and this is why we're here to really tell these stories because a while back, I would say at least about 4 or 5 years ago, me and Jay, we was like, yo, we don't want to be the guys that in our 50s and 60s and then come out and tell our story. Yo, let's take people along with the journey now so they can really see it because nobody's taking along with the journey. They wait until they become billionaires and then say, hey, look, I used to be poor 20 years ago. I used to be in the trenches 20 years ago making 30, 40, $50,000 a year and struggling and this and that, blah, blah, blah. See how I did it. No, we take y'all along with it. Y'all can see how it's done. No capping. We telling y'all the failures, the downs, the ups. It's no cap TV. What up, E Vapors? What up?
Hey,
Hey, what's going on, Jay, man? Everything's good here in Carolina, man. Y'all having a very, very interesting conversation, man. And when you said that about, man, folks see you move and then they start treating you a little different on the job. I mean, I went through that, man, just from buying a car. In my opinion, it was just a car, in my opinion. But
Man, share your story.
yeah. So I mean, I'm working on Fort Bragg, a really good government job that a lot of people love to get and everything, man. 6-figure job or whatever. And I'm working like anybody else, man, coming to work every day. And about a month after I started working there, I ended up buying the I-8, and it literally there was like a shift. And what was funny, like, there was a promotion that was available right in our section, and like they ain't even tell me about the promotion.
Wow.
They ain't even, they went to the outside, and I'm just like, wow. And I was, overqualified for that position or whatever. And it was just little things like that that started to accumulate literally, after I got the car. Now, I'm not even knowing what my future is holding, that I'm going to end up resigning a few months later and just put a 2-week notice in and walk away from $100,000 job. But when I tell you I have not missed a beat because I created the consulting firm while I had a job. I built something. It wasn't bringing in full-time revenue, but I put probably like 2 years into it. And literally the week that I resigned, I got a phone call from a company that wanted me to come in and do some business and social media consulting. And it was just like, wow, I had to take that leap, but not just jump off the building without a plan. Now, I'm jumping off the building and there's 100 mattresses down there waiting on me to land on them. I stacked 100 mattresses up before I jumped. So when them motivators and social media influencers say, man, just quit your job, man, you better not.
That's a fact. Yeah, E-Babers, man. I mean, you obviously, I've heard your story because I met you through Rell, and you solid. You know how much I got love for you, but that's exactly what I'm talking about. Is you can't base your walk on others.
Mm-hmm.
So it ain't about necessarily quitting your job. Build something else so that you got that flexibility. And the other side that I've seen is I've been in companies when, like, realistically, there's a reason why when you sign an offer letter for an organization, they ask you, what other business activities are you involved in? That has nothing to do with them. They're asking those questions because they want to know, is there a leverage point that we can have over you? How much do you need us?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that if we try to play with you, and like you said, you built something for Rell and I when we started out. We started doing shows. We saw that it was lucrative. We continued to do shows. Man, we was getting off of work at the doing 10, 12 hours at a desk and thugging out a business in his basement multiple days a week because we understood that, to your point, at any moment, man, they want to pull it from you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was, I would say, a victim of living comfortable, right? Like, man, I'm on $100,000 a year job. Man, all I got to do is come in here and every other Thursday, I'm going to get paid. But that was not my destiny. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing wrong with working a job if that's, where you are. But man, I just felt like it was more for me on the inside. It was more for me. And literally the pandemic forced me to walk away from that job. So
listen, for me, I'm gonna be honest. I've been through so many different mergers and stuff like that in my career that the last job I had, I knew something wasn't right. So I started planning. And then midway through that year, which would have been 2019, they were like, yo, we're going to close the site. Do you want to move to another state? Like, what do you want to do? And I was like, nah. And salute to my wife. My wife said, Joe, listen, like, if you're going to pull the trigger, then go ahead and pull the trigger because they're not going to pay you what you're worth. Like,
yeah,
you'll get paid competitive amongst your peers, but what you worth? Nah. So if you believe in you, bet on you. But to your point, it ain't nothing wrong with, if my business failed tomorrow, let's eliminate all the capping. If my business failed tomorrow and I had to get a job to pay my mortgage, I would do that. And then I would build another business from scratch and do it again. Because for me, from my mentality, like I'm blessed to have the family I have and to be raised the way I was raised, but I'm from the bottom. So I'm comfortable in uncomfortable situations.
Yeah, real talk.
yeah,
And just to piggyback on that, Jay, I just ran into I ran into AutoZone, my old job. Us as hustlers, we always working 2, 3, 4 jobs, doing whatever we got. I took a job working at McDonald's, working at the bank, doing what I had to do because I needed more money for cars and I needed more money for engagement rings. And I ain't care. And I even served my coworkers their food out the drive-through window. I ain't care. And I still don't care. Last week, I had to buy some parts from this AutoZone that only had, it was the only AutoZone who had parts. And, I was telling the guys, like, man, I worked here at this very same restaurant, same AutoZone. And the guy was like, man, look, we hiring, we'll hire you back. I'm like, look, I'm in a blessed position now. I worked for myself for almost 7 years. But if it ever hit the fan, I'm going to take you up on that offer. And I'm dead serious. Like, yo, I'll do what I got to do to survive. Like, the legal way, obviously. But, yo, if I got to take a job because, transportation's slow, pandemic hit, nobody booking anything, no bread, I got to do what I got to do to help feed my family.
Listen, you already know my vibes, bro. I was unloading pallets at Burlington, selling clothes at Nordstrom after that, and then selling property. Like, it's at the end of the day, I knew what it was going to take to build what I'm trying to build, and I don't have no pride and ego. I'm a hustler. So whatever it takes, I know my greatness. Like, I don't need to speak on it. Humility and God's grace is the key to my success.
Mm-hmm.
But it ain't no, I am who I am. And that's the reason why my wife was comfortable enough to be like, yo, jump off the porch, because she know with me, I ain't got to live up to no standards of social media. I ain't got a cap. I'm going to live well. I'm blessed. My career has far exceeded that of either of my parents. So, and my daughter's going to be better than me. So it's no need to cap. And what I'll say is about coming to know E-Vapors as well, is that I feel like we're all a testimony of following God's path, stepping out on faith, but also having willing to, like, listen, E-Vapors might have his firm, but I keep my eyes open. He got so many other things going on that I see and I watch from a distance, that he's in a business that I know that he in it. And I was asking questions because I was like, man, I might want to tap into that. And they said, man, if you do that, you're going to go to another level. And I said, man, E-Vape is going, like, it's going to be something different. And I think that's the other side of it as well, is wanting to see other men win.
Yes.
Like, I want to see E-Vapors win. If there's business I can push his way, I understand ethically how he handles it. I want to do that. Rell, you already know how we rock. And it's building. And that's the reason why we even created this platform, because what we wanted to show for our people is we giving unfiltered and direct information to God. Because a lot of times, and I just made a video about this on social media, that what I find is it's a lot of bluffing. When we buy cars, we don't tell people the truth about the terms of the car. If the rate's high, if the payment's low, we don't do none of that because we're so worried about how others are going to look at us. So then when I follow behind you and I wanna bust a move like E-Vape was bust a move, now my heart broken because it don't sound right. Not knowing that this person I trusted lied to me in terms of what it took to build.
Jay.
It's different.
Jay, you own something that I literally just did yesterday, man. I was live and somebody made a comment like, "Oh, you're a full-time YouTuber," and I could tell it was like a full-time YouTuber, like YouTube is paying the bills. And I'm like, well, if I'm giving that vibe off, let's make it very clear. I actually went, and YouTubers don't do this. I screen shared my YouTube analytics and showed how much money I've made in YouTube. And right now it's averaging $300 a month. And people were shocked. They had never seen a YouTuber open up the books. So you sitting at home feeling bad that E-Vapors is getting YouTube money and he ain't got to work. When nah, bro, I've created multiple incomes. YouTube is $300. So let me know, at least around here. I don't know where you can stay for $300 around here.
And not up here either, for sure.
Oh, okay. I know you're the real estate man, so let me know.
That's a fact.
But I opened up the books and people was like, he's showing his private information, how much money he getting. Yeah. And the last thing I'll say, I'm purchasing a car. I went in my order form and showed the exact dollar amount of the car and told them that the 2.4 interest rate, payment be $700 something. I'm gonna put $16,000 down and I'm gonna finance $50,000. No secrets. So now you can say, "Oh, that's too much for me," or, "Man, you know what? I can do that too."
Mm-hmm.
I showed you the book, 7-year loan, 2.4 interest rate, $16,000 down payment, $50,000 finance. No secrets.
That's a fact. There's no reason to lie about it. And I think that part of our advancement and growth as a people is like the homie Carl Sassy Stone said in the comments, is transparency. Like, there's no need. What people don't understand is, and I've laughed with Rell about it for the longest time, you can create an influencer overnight. All you need is a couple designer belts, a nice car, and an articulate speech, and you can get online and tell people that you're successful at anything, and there's an assumption. Whereas with us, we're not judging nobody, how everybody eat, that's their business. But for this platform that we beginning from scratch, the goal of it is just to say, listen, This is what the facts is, like you said, which is perfect. Now you're able to understand up front. If I want to make that move that E-Vape has made, am I in a situation to do so? No. What work do I need to do to get there? So that a lot of times we get defeated so much because our own people in our circle are assassinating our futures by lying. It ain't no need. We too old, like, you know, as far as kids, that's kid stuff. But as adults, it ain't no need to lie. You bought a car and it was 25%. Did you need transportation? Bet. Get your credit together, refinance it, get a better rate. There's no need to cap, no need to lie.
No.
And it's just eliminating that, man. So I really appreciate you, bro, for tapping in, because I knew your story, and I appreciate you for even being willing to share it. And it's so funny because Rell took me back when we mentioned it, man, because it was so wild for me getting a call that they wanted to take this man's job over a car.
Yeah.
And I'm not even there, you know. And then it's funny because meeting my wife, and my wife actually worked there at the time. She didn't work with me when I worked there, but then meeting my wife and her being like, oh yeah, the Benz guy that work on whatever floor, they been trying to fire him. And I'm like, wait, what? So everybody on the street except him knows that at any moment, yo, you about to buy this house, you about to buy this car. They setting you up for a nice fall with no mattresses under you. You know, like, because you got too big for your britches.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I appreciate y'all tapping me in, though, man. And
Yeah, bro.
I'm gonna go ahead and drop out, man, and enjoy the convo, man, from the living room, man. I appreciate y'all, man. I love what y'all doing, man.
Appreciate it, bro.
All right. Yeah, to kind of wrap this thing up, man.
Yeah, let's wrap it up, bro.
You know, we thank everybody for tapping in. Sassy Stone, 5 to 10. Jojo 9 to 5. Catch Up Haters. Mango 392. Opulent M3. Tony Rain. Oz Got the Juice. Sequel Sass. Furious Scat. Mr. 18 Will. G5 Pro. Lefty 1372. Nina Nanette. Royal Family. Mr. Coast to Coast. Fox Body Cams. Twin Hyper. Swag Junior. Dave's Mom. What up, wifey? Amen 81. Miss Hackey. Tonda
Rhonda, what's good?
Miss Yorkman, and Omar 720 Cruz 248. Man, we got a lot of folks that tapped in.
Yeah, we appreciate all of y'all, man. And one of these episodes we gotta tap my homie Sassy Stone, and she used to work with me back in the day. We used to be in the trenches, AMC movie theater, selling checking accounts to people in between popcorn sessions or whatever. Man. And she got a ton of wisdom. So we're gonna start tapping in different people, kind of like we did E-Vapors as well, and giving out as much game as we can.
Yeah, look, we just want to give y'all the real story of what success really looks like, man. People think success is like this, and it's not. It's like this. Like, real talk, like, it's not gonna always be right. You're gonna have to pivots. You might have to take 2 steps back to take 2 steps or 3 steps forward, which lead into our next Tuesday episode, which is Sacrifice.
Yeah, for sure. We looking forward to that, man. Thank y'all for even coming in and tuning and listening. And we're gonna try to give as much game as possible. We're gonna try to tap in as many people as possible. And we're gonna also share, as we're doing this, the growth that's going on in our own businesses. You know, so that we can be the I guess the caveat of the catalyst. Some of those conversations are gonna be great detailed information. Some of it's gonna say, hey, listen, our L came this way, our L came that way. But we're gonna always hustle through it because that's who we are.
Facts. Look, we see y'all on the next one next day, 7 p.m. As I always say, motto, stay positive, stay motivated.
Already. Salute.